Hey guys, it's Biggs. Welcome back. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. Really helps me out. Leave me some comments, let me know what you like, and I'll keep doing it for you. Today I'm going to take you to a good buddy of mine. His name is Mr. Mike Drawdy. He's the owner of Imperial Tropicals down in Lakeland, Florida. And we did a little interview and he's going to tell us all about his latest adventures. Enjoy. Hey guys, it's Biggs. I'm down again in Florida. Today I'm in a buddy's place. He's a guy I've known for a long time. This is Mike Drawdy from Imperial Tropicals. You guys know him from online. The guy does some exceptional fish. He'll ship it direct to your door.
Hey.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Yep, good seeing you.
Been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I feel honored that you came by. So I know you were
You sure about that?
making the circuit through Florida and your time was limited. So glad you stopped by. Always a pleasure.
This is home usually.
It is. The boys were asking if you were going to be here while they were while you were in town, and I was like, I don't think you'll see them. So.
I think it was last year global.
Yeah.
And then we did all the baseball games, and then we went and did all that collecting in the swamps and everything like that. That was super fun.
The boys, they all knew Mr. Biggs.
Get him, Daddy.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought we'd talk to Mike a little bit today. We're going to do a couple. I got a bunch of videos and some stuff of his farm and stuff, and you guys have seen a lot of it online already. It's an exceptionally large farm, and he does a lot of diversity, a lot of different species. But Mike, you just recently came back from a pretty amazing collecting trip that's not a couple hours away from here.
No, it's the other side of the world, so it's about as far away from Florida as you could get. So.
Where'd you go?
We went to Papua Indonesia, which is the big chain of islands above Australia.
Sounds like a place that's just readily accessible.
Oh man, it was quite the cultural experience. I mean, I will say that the people were very, very friendly because they don't get very many outsiders. Like where we went, they don't have tourists. It's not, people don't go there unless you're into rainbows or birding. You know, that's about it. You know,
no birding. We've talked about birding before.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about birding again. Birding's wrong.
Yeah.
But you got to travel with Hansi, eh?
Yeah. So,
he's been there many times, I'm sure.
Our good friend Hans from Germany and Jeffrey from Indonesia is the one that organized the trip. And we caught at least 6 different new species of rainbows that are not in the hobby. So that's quite
It's hard to even imagine because you look at the Indonesian list for rainbows now. It's no longer that 9 or 10 species. It's like 2-3 pages, and there's 90% of them are undescribed. They label them as the genera and then the name of the creek it was caught in, and a lot of them are stunning.
Oh, stunning! And you know, I'd never understood why there was so much diversity in the rainbow pool genetics because what the reason is the terrain is so inhospitable, and that it's mountainous range that has all these little mountains.
Yeah, but you're totally designed for that. Like,
I loved it.
It's not like the old time collectors that drive the van up to the side of the creek, hop out, do a little dip netting, and hop back in. You're backpacking for hours.
I will say this, that Hans is an exceptional fish collector. Like this guy went to the point, I'm okay if we take a break. You know, and Hans like, no, we got to go to the end where there's no more road, you know. So
how often did Hans wear shoes?
He didn't wear shoes the entire trip. He wore flip-flops.
Yeah. And he wanders through the jungle in the flip-flops.
Yeah. He's like, you gotta get flip-flops. I'm like, no, I got my boots. He's like, yeah, you're going to get jungle rot though. It's like, well, I let them dry out in between, you know. But yeah, that's why there's so many different species of rainbows. Is that, you know, you might go 20 miles, you know, and there's a creek there that does not connect to any of the other creeks.
Yeah. And it's all pristine jungle in a lot of this area.
Pristine jungle, untouched, water's crystal clear.
Left in the world.
Yeah, it's it was very very pristine, you know, beautiful. I mean, and like I said, all the village people. You would pull up to a creek, and you have all these village people that live around the creek, and you have to get permission to fish everywhere you go because
from the town leader or elder.
Yeah, and. You know, there was a few times that they were a bit aggressive, you know, but they at the end they accepted the money. and
they don't see a lot of white people there, I'm guessing.
In fact, there was one of the native people seen us go in that morning down the main road, and he waited all day for us to come back. And when we came back in the evening time, he like waved the truck down, and you know, we're a little bit cautious, you know. We didn't stop several times when people were yelling gibber at us, and But this guy stopped us, and he had never seen a white person before. So I was like, wow, dude, I hope I didn't.
Photo op.
I hope
He whips out his. He lives in the jungle and he whips out his iPhone to take a picture with you.
Hey, it's funny. A lot of them do have phones, and a lot of them.
You wouldn't even think there'd be service in a lot of these places.
No, there's cell towers along the main road, and I guess those towers have a pretty. I mean, I would say of the entire time I was on the island, probably 20% of the time I had service.
So when you guys went, like, you weren't like sleeping in hotels a lot of the time. When you went into the jungle, you guys were pretty remote.
No, we actually, it was not the nicest. It was very, very dingy, and it was not hot water.
A little primitive.
Yeah, it was very primitive, and but we actually, Hans was really good about setting up a base station in one of the towns, and then the first day we would head as far east as the road would allow, which was about 4 hours of driving.
Yeah,
and,
dirt road.
Yeah, dirt road. Yeah, these are roads that literally you're driving, just a couple miles per hour.
They're about as good as the cart path.
Yeah. So basically, we would go as far east as we could, and then that night we would come back, and then the next day we would go as far south as we could go, and then the next day we would go as far north as we could go. So it worked out really well like that because we didn't have to sleep out in the jungle, because it's not it's a safe place, right? But it's not a place you would just want to randomly go walking through the jungle and say, hey, let's set up camp here, because everywhere you have the native people living there, and you go walking through their jungle, they're not going to be too happy about it.
Yeah, that's their yard.
That's
really.
their yard. Yeah. So
that's our place.
So everything's done with permission, and usually they go with you. So everywhere we fish.
Well, they have no idea. Like, why would you want to keep the fish?
Oh yeah,
that's food.
Well, it's funny because they're such little fish that they don't even think of them as food. I mean, there's so much food that they're getting from the rainforest that the little fish in the creeks are not of any interest to them. And the creeks are for their drinking water for the villages, and washing and that stuff. It's not for not for the fish. And there's no big fish. We did see tilapia, but most of the creeks are so small.
There's no bass or anything like that? No?
Not unless you get closer to the coast, and there's some brackish water.
So the rainbows really, most of them don't have an actual predator. There's no apex predator in the streams.
No.
Birds, I guess, would be.
Birds would be, yeah. But yeah, no, it was pretty awesome. And waterfalls, crystal clear water.
That's not an area of the world that a lot of people go to ever.
No.
There's headhunters and some very primitive cultures there.
Yeah.
So, did you eat any people?
No. They were too dirty, so they didn't wash. No.
So at the McDonald's, you couldn't order a McPeople burger?
No, I didn't see a McDonald's there. They that is not practice anymore,
Okay.
But it's still so
sure, there's some people we all could think of that we'd like to send on vacation there.
Yeah. The area that we went is known for, that's where the Bozemanai comes from, right?
Which one? The lake?
Lake Uter is south of where we were. You got the Aramaru Lake.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that was where the first rainbow Bozemanai was caught.
That's the one that's that yellow and blue, or yellow and more violet blue. And then the other ones that were coming out, they're a lot more orange.
Yeah. That's the lake that Heiko Blair was the one that went in there with another guy in the early 80s and brought in the first Bozemanai rainbow to the hobby.
And you guys did you go like snorkeling?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got plenty of underwater footage of the Bozemanai and all the other rainbows that we caught. Pretty much everywhere we went, I broke out the underwater camera because, it was such pristine, clear water. It was perfect for underwater filming.
But there's also no big predators there.
No.
There's no big. There's not known for snakes. Is that area known for snakes?
Yes.
Well, I guess you have the reticulated pythons and stuff.
So
like
they were
that.
telling me about another poisonous snake that's white and black. I don't know what, and it doesn't get very big. It's a viper from the way they described it. But it's because I asked the native people what is the most dangerous threat.
Yeah. While we're out
here. And they said it's a little snake that's white and black, and it.
Well, I can think of that be white and black would be a sea crate or something like that, the banded sea crate, but they're on land.
No. I want to go back. So I got invited back from one of the native people to go back hunting with them. They actually go deer hunting with the spears.
How about blowguns?
No, they use spears, and it's you hike for one day, and you spend the night in the forest, and they hunt.
Oh, you're all about that. I know that.
I want to get that stuff. I want to see it. I mean, I don't. He's like, yeah, you go hunt. I'm like, look, I'm not going to hit one with a spear.
It'll be Mike.
I like to experience, the way you guys live.
Next video will be Mike in a loincloth living in New Guinea.
But it was awesome, man. We caught some really cool crayfish, the Chirac species. We caught the super orange.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen them or not.
No.
They're like,
I know they've been pulling out all over that area of the world. They've been pulling out all sorts of new. Chris Lufkamp from Europe and stuff. He shows all that stuff.
Yeah. So a lot
Hans
of
loves going to that Celebes Island, that little island looks like a sea, and all that's there is brown half beaks and weird shrimp.
Yeah. So we caught some really colorful crayfish though. I mean, just crazy colors. So yeah, and we're going to bring a lot of Florida it's illegal to keep the Chirac species, unfortunately. Of
Canada, you can't bring in anything that has claws at all.
And it's going that way all over the states. So I'm not really focused on breeding those as much, but the rainbowfish, yes. So here in a couple weeks, they're going to be shipping the rainbows that we collected over here. And
you did collect some and bring some.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we caught probably 30 to 50 species, or fish of each species, So we got, and then we'll split that up into 3 different hands, Hans, Jeffrey's, and mine, and then we should be able to breed them and get them into the hobby, So, but yeah, no, that was the goal was to bring some new species back to breed,
or just even new bloodlines of like old species.
To
see them in the wild must have been absolutely breathtaking.
Oh, it was. Yeah. No,
I was a long-term rainbowfish guy for many years, and I kind of got out of it because there was nothing new.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now it's like I want to get back into it again.
Well, Hans is Hans and Jeffrey's is 2 of the big reasons a lot of these rainbows are coming back into the hobby, because they've been. I think that was Hans' 6th trip to Papua.
Was it all like Melanitanias and Glossolepsis type rainbows, or was there a lot of the little small ones?
We did see some blue eye. I'll tell you a funny story about the blue eye. So that was one of the target fish for the trip, was to find a location of those that had been heard about. There was one specimen caught like in the 80s, and so that was the last time that fish was found.
Do you remember what species?
It was the blue eye, the yellow.
Signifer.
Which one did?
And then there's that new one that Hansi caught, that reddish one.
Yeah.
I don't know the name. It's been described now.
Yeah, not the red. It was the yellow blue eye. So I don't know
We'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll add it in the video afterward.
Well, I didn't even know about it until during the trip. Hans was like, "We got to find this fish," So we went to one area to find. We're looking for Bozemanii. This is not too far from Lake Aramaru, and I put the GoPro under the water, and I couldn't see the fish that well, but I knew that there was some Bozemanii in there, and we filmed it. And then we fished, right? And we caught, and this was surprising too, is we caught Bozemanii and the Melatinia aramaru, which is it's like the cousin to the Bozemanii, in the same reservoir, which was shocking to Hans, because they've always been known to be one location of that. Aramaru.
And that's a real wild where it's not somebody introduced it.
No,
there's no reason to.
There's no way that the fish, but they're so close to each other, and the geographic location. I mean, you're only probably talking 30, 40 miles. So at some point, those creeks meet, and that's why they are so similar, because they look very similar.
Yeah, and they've evolved from one species into 2 species.
And then. We caught the Melantinias, but we did not know that when I reviewed the camera later that night, when we're already like 6 hours heading to the north part of the island. I'm reviewing the GoPro. I'm like, there's your blue eye right there. We can see it in the.
But we're not going to get it.
No, we thought about going back, but we had already traveled, literally at least Well, actually, we're probably 8 hours north of that location at that point. So
Both ways.
Both ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we were already. So we, Hans is already talking about going back to that location. So I guess the fish was brought into Germany about 5 years ago. A couple of Hans's friends went trying to find the fish,
Okay.
and they couldn't find it, and they were asking locals, and the locals showed up and gave them 20 of them, but would not tell them where they were. So those 20 fish went back to Germany, and of course they're so good at fish keeping that those fish are now
They're established.
Not all over the world, but at least there's a good population going in Germany of the fish. But the fact that we found the location was pretty exciting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and the fact that we didn't know it until we reviewed the GoPro footage, 8 hours later.
8 hours later.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's many stories on the trip that were memorable. And,
Oh, it's a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah. I got tons of video and pictures. At some point, I'm gonna start chopping it up and making some clips out of it.
So where, Mike, tell everybody where they're going to be able to find not only the footage when you release it and stuff like that, but also how do they find Imperial Tropicals? How do they go about finding fish from you?
So just Google best fish in the world, and you'll find Imperial Tropicals at the top of Google's search engine. So now just search fish online and you'll find our name. Imperial Tropicals is who we are, and we breed fish for a living. That's what we do. And if you want to see YouTube videos, you type in Imperial Tropicals on YouTube. We have our own Imperial YouTube channel. A lot of the footage from the trip, though, is going to be on my personal channel, which is Mike Drawdy on YouTube. So I have a lot of videos, old videos up already, and I'm going to use this trip to kind of kick off me working that channel again, because it's been just sitting there, lots of stuff for people to look at, but I haven't been doing new content because I've just been so busy breeding fish. So now I'm gonna use that to start putting out new content on that channel. So, but yeah, we have all types of fish, and that's what we do. We love it.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Love coming to see you.
Yeah.